first questions I ask them, if you have $100,000 to work with, what in your mind is a realistic annual return on your money, percentage return on the account if you have $100,000? And I've had people tell me, well, I should be able to make at least a half a million. I'm like, no, no. So
Wait. Hi there, traders. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at Trade Delicious. We have another special treat for you. This trader is someone who is new to Trade Delicious, but a veteran of the markets, almost 20 years in the markets as an avid futures and options trader. He now teaches people how to day trade and has been doing so and swing trade since 2009, 2010 as a coach. His work is incredible. When you're talking about a renaissance man, this man was a engineer at Lockheed Martin. He is an actor. He is an avid martial artist, kickboxer, stunt man, trader, decorated, incredibly fascinating individual. I am absolutely honored to introduce to some and to present to others the ever brilliant Eversley Forte. How you doing, my friend?
really, really good. And how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on. I love your energy. I've watched a few of your videos, and you have so much knowledge that you can give to the trading community. I have to ask, because your story is so crazy. You do so many different things. Can you please go over the story of how you found trading and why you pursued it to the degree you have?
Well, I my basic education is in engineering. I got my double E from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Did the old come to Silicon Valley from New York and do the engineering thing. Got a job at Lockheed Martin, successfully working on satellites programs and missile programs. But there was other things I wanted to do in life. And the folks at Lockheed kept telling me that no problem, Eversley. When you retire in 30 years, you'll have all the free time you want to do whatever you want. And I was like, wait a second, that's like a sentence. I don't want to wait till I get out, then I'll be able to. No, I don't want to do that. So, but I also like to live a comfortable life, have a roof over my head, and be able to eat. So I was looking for some other type of business where I could generate income and not have to rely on my Lockheed income. And one of the businesses I found was trading. Took my first trading class in 2005. And from that point on, never looked back, kept growing, learning from many, many, many people all around the country. And I was finally able to leave my full-time engineering job in 2009 and have trading be able to provide enough income for me to pay my bills and eat and not have to worry about that stuff while pursuing all the other things I want to do, like acting and stunts. I got involved in city government. I've been a city official since 2013 in the city of Santa Clara. And that is the giving back part, because I don't get paid for that, but it's my time being volunteered. My current appointment ends in 2027. I have a 4-year appointment
Wow.
as Parks and Recreation Commission. So I get to decide all the bands and music coming to town, what happens in the park, how all the fields, all the kind of good stuff for the community. And acting and stunts that goes on, except right now I am SAG-AFTRA, so I am on strike. Little detail. I had my
My
last
God.
job about 4 weeks ago on a commercial for a healthcare company. That was my first, on my last job. But right now, we're just on strike and waiting to see what happens. Oh, I just got on the national committee for nominating for the SAG Awards next year, meaning not voting on the SAG Awards, but deciding who gets nominated for an award. And I didn't, and that
What?
is special. Only 2,000 SAG members get selected for that committee randomly, and I'm on that committee. So when you see the award nominations come out, I'm the one who everyone's going to be sending dozens and dozens and dozens of videos of their productions to decide, please watch this and vote for our actors or vote for our film. So I'm going to be doing that for this year, deciding who I want to actually nominate for an award. So that's fun too, because you get to see stuff that And you always wonder, like, if you got all these hundreds of shows, how are you going to select? It just stands out. Certain performances just are that much better. But I got to watch all these things over the next few months as they come out. But yeah, just a little bit of everything.
I I read your bio and I've seen a lot of your work, and it's just to hear it all at once. I mean, you're living the trader's dream, right? So many traders, or so many aspiring traders, look to become a trader, to have what you have, to have that flexibility, to live this kind of lifestyle. Obviously, it didn't happen overnight. You,
Yeah.
you took 4 years of this intense education to make this thing happen. I have to ask, now that you've had all of these years of experience, starting over again from an education perspective to get to where you are now, where would you start as a new trader trying to learn how to be better?
It's it's hard to narrow down what you want to do. Everyone thinks they know what they want to do. Trading is one of the hardest businesses to find your niche and become consistent in being profitable, because there are literally thousands and thousands of ways to profit from the markets. Um, and I started out around here in the Silicon Valley, and around here in the Silicon Valley, everyone has engineering degrees. Okay. So, and everyone likes really, really complicated things. So those were the people I initially surrounded myself with, and I learned the most complicated ways possible to profit from the markets. And it worked. But there were negatives with doing that also, because when things go wrong, how to get out of those situations required adding additional money in it. So, but I started learning more and more from different people, and I finally found pure directional trading. And I started learning from people who trade their own real money for a living, as opposed to going to just a school. Okay. It's a different experience learning from people who trade their own real money. As for instance, I learned that from an organization. I won't say the name, but when you see 3 green arrows, you buy. When you see 3 red arrows, you sell. So I remember my first trade, I saw 3 green arrows and I put $5,000 worth of options into that trade. And I quickly lost $5,000. Not my first trade. It was UNH, United Health.
Wow.
Um, because they didn't, with that particular class, they didn't teach me about trade sizing and position
Yeah.
management. They just said I saw 3 green arrows, I just bought, but they didn't tell me what percentage of my account to allocate, that type of thing. I didn't really learn that until I started working with people who trade their own real money. And they told me, okay, don't allocate more than 2, maybe 3% of your account for this trade. Here's what your risk should be, and here's how to manage your position. And it wasn't until I started hanging around those people and it really clicked to me. So I used my foundation knowledge from all the classes. Then I learned from the people trading their own real money, started assembling my own systems, and I have literally spent over 20,000 hours. Okay. Think about that. 20,000 hours. Um, if, because I'm one of those people, one of the first people who I learned from was a gentleman named David Elliott. David
Wow.
Elliott would volunteer his time every day to do market analysis first thing in the morning and in the evening. And told us what made him really, really good at what he did is that no one he's ever known has put their eyeballs on charts more than him. Not trying to write programs, literally looking at charts, understanding the charts, seeing everything, not writing algorithms, understanding the charts, looking at the pattern, understanding it. And I told a friend of mine who's my trading partner that same day, I'm going to look at more charts than David Elliott. And that's the 20,000 hours plus. I would work 40 hours a week at my engineering job, and then I spend another 60 hours a week working on my trading. I was that obsessed. I was that
Wow.
obsessed. I had to be successful. I, I still to this date, it's like 18, 19 years later, I still put in at least 8 to 10 hours a week working on my analysis to make my strategies better, to make them more efficient, to make them more profitable. I love this stuff. And it's a never ending
Yeah.
process. How can I make what I have better and keep evolving? And that's what I love about technical analysis and trading. How can I keep getting better? And that is part of me. It's in me. And, having doing so many things. I don't know if you've ever seen the old show In Living Color with the Jamaican
Of
family
course.
that have seven or
Of
eight
course.
jobs. That's me, except from Trinidad. I'm from Trinidad. I'm the same way. I got to have 7 or 8 things going on, or else I'm a slacker. That is me. Okay. That is literally me. I got to have at least
Right.
7 or 8 jobs, or else I'm just slacking off.
Wow.
If I'm not,
Eversley,
I'm always have to be busy doing something.
wow, man. I love that perspective. I a lot of people do not understand one, just how much work goes into you trading an hour a day nowadays, right? Now you spend sure a couple of minutes pressing the buy and sell button, but that's not because it's as easy as a couple of minutes a day. It's because you've put in the 20,000 hours
You
to
got it.
understand what exactly needs to be done in those few minutes.
You got it.
So it's like the old saying: a plumber comes over and turns a wrench and charges you $11,000. They're not charging you for the time that they spent turning the wrench. They're charging you for the time that they learned how and where to turn what wrench to make it work.
It's sort of
That's
like martial
amazing.
arts and going to a competition.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
a competition, you go to a tournament, you're competing for 5 minutes for a round,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
However, that fight to get to that round, you're putting hundreds and hundreds of hours on the mat
Yeah. Oh,
behind the
absolutely.
scenes training to qualify you to step on that competition mat. People only see you for those 5 minutes, but they don't always realize literally the hundreds of hours you spend preparing to get to that point. And it's the same thing with any other business, and trading. You got to put in the hours. And I try to tell traders, this is a business. It's not a hobby. It is a business, and you put in your time and you commit to it. Even if you're going to commit 5 hours a week, commit your 5 hours a week. Going to commit 10 hours a week, commit 10 hours a week. But have those times set, and you keep learning every day. You log on, you do something, and but it's a constant process. You have to be committed to it. If you just do it once in a while, you might see good results for a while. You might have a win here or loss there, a win here or loss there, but and it becomes luck. You might have some fun. It's like going to Vegas. Might have some fun doing it, but you don't make any money consistently. If you want to make it a business to make it consistent, then you got to treat it like a business, and have some kind of process you repeat. It might be the strategy, it might how whatever it might be, but it has to be something that you can repeat and count on, that is going to work for you, and be consistent with it. And then realistic expectations. A lot of people, they stop trading after a couple of losses, even though they know they have a good system. They get in their minds discouraged after a couple of losses. Like, everything I do is 80% wins or better. And I train people. They know the system. They know the rules. But what happens if I don't hear from people for a while? It's because they might have had a couple of losses and they lose confidence, and they might lose confidence in me, the system, whatever it is. So I try to keep in touch with them. Okay, what's going on? I haven't heard from you for a while. Hey, what's going on? Then they tell me, yeah, we had a couple of losses. And so let's see what the losses were. And quite often people think they're doing it right, but they're not. That's
Yeah.
why for the people I'm coaching, I need you to be in communication with me. Let me know what you're doing. Let me review your trades each month, because you might totally think you're doing it right. However, you're missing something. And I need to know so that we can fix that and fine tune it. So that's why I do everything one on one. I don't do group sessions. I do one on one training. And because I want to be able to see what you're doing. Sometimes you tell people something, it doesn't click. You have to find 3 or 4 different ways until you say it the right way so that particular person gets it. And that's why I try to customize my training for the individual, because everyone has different backgrounds. Stuff I think is simple, other people think is hard. Stuff I think is hard, other people think is simple. So I have to find the right words for the right people so that they fully understand it. And it's an
Absolutely.
ongoing
And
process.
that's, I 100% agree, Eversley. There's so much in any of these spheres, really. When you talk about all the things that you do, whether it be martial arts or trading, it takes a degree of dedication and question asking and understanding that is difficult to it's difficult to come by. In your coaching practice, what do you see most often, or characteristic wise, in the people that you're coaching that produces the best results for your clientele? Do you see something in someone and see automatically, oh, this person's going to get it, or oh, this person probably shouldn't be trading? Do you see anything like that?
The people who have the best results are the people who are trading for a reason that's going to have a definitive impact on their lives. Meaning, there are people who trade, they thought they could make some extra money. You know, they're not that serious. It's whatever we thought. I saw people were doing crypto, thought we could make some extra. So they were doing this. The people who have been the most successful with me are people who actually want to have a definitive change in their lives. They want to not have a full-time job anymore. They want to be independent. They're getting close to retirement. They want to have a separate source of income so they don't have to worry about not having enough money during retirement. They have a slightly bigger purpose. Those are the people who I found get more serious and are more driven because they have a goal. They have something more goal oriented and a reason to do it. I'm working with one person right now. Her goal is to be able to show her grandchildren um, a way they can earn money in the long term. And that's her goal. So she wants to learn it and then be able to show her grandchildren. So people who have bigger
Wow.
goals other than just, that's what makes some extra cash. Um, those are the people who I've had the most success with. The people who
Wow.
have the most trouble are the people who just didn't realize how much time is involved. Um,
Right.
they have families, they have other responsibilities, and those other responsibilities end up taking priority. So they can't trade the way they thought they were going to. Those are the
Right.
people who have the worst levels of successes because it's a time crunch. They might truly want to be successful trading, but time is an issue and family responsibilities, just life.
Wow. And that's so powerful the way you say it too, Eversley. For someone who was an engineer, my friend, you're so incredibly well spoken. As someone who went to architecture school, worked in architecture firms, you really have a way with words, my friend. My God. But you're getting me fired up just thinking about it. I started trading 6 years ago because I knew that, I wanted to be a father one day. I didn't want to miss anything. The idea that I could live a life similar to yours, where I'm able to go out and do the things that I want to do and be incredibly present in my marriage and for my children. It's so incredibly important to me. I know I say that, look, as young as I am, 27, I get it.
That's actually
But
good.
I knew thank you. But I knew early on what I wanted, right? And that has enabled me to be a lot more successful and not have to go through those situations where, I take a really, really horrible loss and I'm trading 50% of my account and I blow things up. We all do. We all start off with something, maybe because we're a little bit more ignorant, a little bit more naive. I know I started trading by trading signals. As I'm sure you know,
Yo,
Eversley, you're
been there,
trading
done that.
signals. Oh my God. So you put a trade on and you see all this great data that they present you. You see this amazing spreadsheet. We win 99.98% of the time. You'll make so much money. And then all of a sudden your account is it's looking anemic. It's hard. And it takes time to really get everything down. Eversley, when you think about what the new trader needs to know, first and foremost, the most important thing you wish perhaps you could have told yourself when you were starting, if it could be one thing, what would that thing be?
Get a coach and talk to multiple coaches. Multiple before you start, literally have a conversation with multiple coaches. Not just read a website, because they need to get on an actual conversation with you, and they have to understand your situation, your lifestyle, your time commitments. Before you commit your capital to hiring someone to train you, you need to know that what they're going to teach you will actually fit into your lifestyle, your financial situations, and your end goals. I didn't learn that till well later on. Um, so some of the trading I started out with didn't fit into my day-to-day life situation. I have to go to work every day. I'm an engineer. I can't be sitting in front of a computer all day trading, because during work hours, which is the same as market hours in California, exactly, a little detail. Work hours and market hours just happen to be the same. So I
It's
can't.
somehow they cross over. It's
I know,
crazy how
and
that works.
maybe a little more flexibility on the East Coast or something, but no, I have to. So that was the biggest thing. That's why I encourage everyone who's considering working with me to give me a call, message me, and let's have a conversation, because I want to make sure that your goals are in line with what I'm going to teach, and make sure you're within the realm of reality. I've asked people, and one of the first questions I ask them: if you have $100,000 to work with, what in your mind is a realistic annual return on your money, percentage return on the account if you have $100,000? And I've had people tell me, well, I should be able to make at least a half a million. I'm like, no, no. So
Wait,
no, it's
Eversley,
not gonna.
you're telling me you can't just hop into trading and make five extra money? Is that what you're telling me?
So, and I had one person, he was one of my first clients actually for coaching. And I never planned on coaching. There's one, I started in 2005. I had one person who I coached, one or two former coworkers who I worked with. I taught them, but I was doing local presentations um, for the local trading groups for since 2007, like at least 3 or 4 a year. And it wasn't until
Wow.
like 2013ish, people from those groups started approaching me to work with them one on one, and then that's how the coaching expanded from the few people I was working with and to many more. Still all one on one, but they saw what I was doing for all those years, and then that's how it started growing. But I always make sure people have realistic expectations. One of the first people I worked with, he had $100,000 account, and his goal was to make $130,000 a year from his $100,000 account. Is that doable? Yes. Is that realistic? No.
Right. Right.
Cannot happen in one day? Of
Someone
course it can. But you can't plan on that, on 100% doubling your count every year. You can't, that doesn't work like that. So, but when we started working with him, I got him to a point where he was making a comfortable 30 something percent return on his account every year. That because we got him trading in a very business like manner. And I was with options. He was doing those with options, and it was averaging about 30 something percent return. But I put him into a more realistic situation. Can you make more? Yes. But you can't plan on that. Can't be in your business plan. Double my money each year. You can't. It doesn't work like that. So I make sure people have a realistic expectations with options. You can make anywhere from 10 to 30, 40% annual return on your account. That's very doable depending on how much time and effort you put into it and how you manage positions. With the futures is usually a little bit more, usually more like 20 to 60% return on account, depending on how you manage positions. That's more the way we trade futures. But if you have a realistic expectations like that, then you can do pretty well. But you also have to know what to expect with losses. At some point in time, you're going to have 3, 4, 5 losses in a row, and you have to plan on that. And I talk people through that, because that's where the psychology comes in. You start second guessing And you got to relax, take a look back at historical trades. It happens every couple of, at least once, twice a year, you will have these group of losses and then lots and lots and lots and lots of wins. And then people start calming down and keep trading. But that's part of the experience. If you get through with me the first 3 to 6 months of trading, you're set because you're going to experience the wins and the losses and the emotions. So if you get through a good solid 6 months with me as a coach, you will be well on your way because you would have experienced it and I will help you through it. Because I've been there, done that. I know what it feels like to have a loss and you start second guessing and it's awful. But
It is.
trading is a lonely world. You're by yourself. So you got to have someone
Yeah.
else. You got to have someone else.
I think that's so brilliant, Eversley. One thing I misunderstood when I started trading, it was a good little nugget. I felt that I needed people in order to operate. Obviously, I'm a people person. I host this as a part-time thing alongside my trading, right? I knew I needed to trade within a group, but you don't really get the attention you necessarily need in a group. And so I was paying, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, I was paying hundreds of dollars a month to be a part of these groups. And it was great to have a community. But the fact of the matter was, I wasn't making money. um and it's a lot of it's because I couldn't have those personalized conversations. And you mentioned the psychology aspect of it. It's so hard when you're just sitting in a corner in your house and it's dark, it's drab, and you lost money all at the same time. It could be a difficult situation. From a psychology perspective, what do you do to prepare traders for those inevitable losses?
Well, of course, losses are the hardest thing. But the main thing is I communicate with people every day. I email them the trades I find valid, and I expect them to be doing their work to see what they found valid. And I encourage them each week or each month to have me review their trades with them each month. I want to see what you're doing each month, especially your losses. Because just because you had a loss doesn't mean it was a valid loss. Some losses are valid losses, and I also publish what should have been wins. And if you have differences, we need to take a look at that, and let's fix that. Some losses actually happen because of problems with the broker or the exchange. It's not, exchanges have problems, and they don't tell you. You don't get notified that your platform had an error. And so when I've had losses on options where it's like, wait a second, I call the broker and they look at my account, saw that I did nothing wrong, and a week later they got me my money back. They
It's
got me my
crazy how
money
that
back
works, isn't it?
because I showed them it's like it wasn't me. This should have been this, but that's why I need to go. So that's why I want to work with people. Show me what your losses were. Let's go through them, and I just talk. If that's a valid loss, great. That's a good loss. Good loss. That's a good loss. If it's a loss per plan, you follow the rules. Had a loss, that's acceptable. That's built into the parameters where we are still within our 80% wins, 20% or less losses, and we're going to make money. We're going to make good money. If you're taking extra losses outside of, then there's something going on. Let's figure that out. But it's basically communication, make people feel comfortable that any losses they had were valid losses, not something that shouldn't have happened. If it should have happened, it happens. As long as it's per plan, expected, we don't care because we know we're going to make a lot more than we're going to lose. As long as we understand that, then I don't care if we have a loss because I have this exact same loss you have. It works out just fine, but we got to keep trading and get through those first 6 months. Get through the first
I
six
love
months, and
that.
you're going to experience it. You're going to have, you might have two great winning months, and then you have two. So here's what I tell people overall: at 80% wins, you will have 2 to 3 losing months every year. That will be negated by 2 to 3 winning months every year. The other 6 to 8 months will be your annual profits. But you have to understand that big picture. Losing months a year, 2 to 3 losing months a year, offset by 2 to 3 winning months a year. The other 6 months of profit is how much you will make. But sometimes you might have the 3 winning months in a row, then the 3 losing months in a row. and now you're net zero, and you lose all confidence. That happens. And that is the situation I deal with where with people. It's like, we just lost all the money we made. I'm like, yeah. And then I have to explain that same thing I just said. And they're like, oh, okay, we forgot you said that. That's the thing. Oh yeah.
It's
And then keep trading. And then they suddenly make money and get through it, and it's all good. But
right.
I
And,
need to
and
be in touch with you and remind you of these things, because you forget that stuff, right? You just see losses. And
you see
yeah,
red and you go red, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's hard. It's definitely hard for a lot of traders, especially new starting out. We often forget. We see all of the green and we assume it's always going to be
Yeah,
green. It's nothing but Christmas. But
yes.
you have to remember, Christmas is two colors. It's red and green. And we oftentimes forget that portion of things. Eversley, I don't want to take up all your time, my friend. I know things are running out. Please tell us where we could find more about your work, what you do, where people can contact you.
Okay, best way to contact me is off my website. It's behindscenes.com. That's BEHINDSCENES.com, behindscenes.com. And if for anyone who's on Meetup, I have a Meetup group. Let's see if you can pull up my Meetup group here. I'll give you the exact name. And I do a lot of meetings on Zoom. I have one coming up in just another week or so. My thing's kind of slow now, of course.
That's the nature of the beast. And don't worry about it, my friend. Of course, we'll have
So
all of your
you literally
details
just
in the
search for
description as
Eversley.
well.
You search for Eversley Forte and trading on Google. You will find me, or behind BEHINDSCENES.com, behindscenes.com, and my programs are up there. And message me, let me know that you heard about me through this podcast, and I can give you a discount also, because you let me know you heard about me through this podcast, and I will give you $100 discount. So just let me know, $100 discount. Just message me from my contact page on my website, behindscenes.com.
Thank you, sir. And of
Oh
course, we'll
yeah,
have all your
and my
details
site
in the
is Bay
description.
Area
Please
Options
do.
and Futures, Bay Area Options and Forex Swing Traders.
Perfect. I'll throw all of that in the description as well so we can have all of your details. Again, thank you so much for your time. Traders, if you guys enjoyed this conversation with the Eversley Forte, please like and subscribe. We always like to bring you content from traders that actually know what they're doing, that are actually profitable, and are actually looking to help people. So, as always, please trade well and trade delicious. Eversley, thank you so much for your time,
And
sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Jordan here. Just wanted to send you a personal little thank you for sticking around and watching us here at Trade Delicious. If you did enjoy the content, consider subscribing. Everything we do here is completely free. And of course, we have some other video suggestions here which you might love. We will see you in the next video.